Excitement on the Plains Saturday as Auburn welcomed in Georgia, but what was fun in the pregame turned into frustration by the final whistle. Man, what a game. 90,000 strong here at Ben Hill Griffin Stadium, and you could feel the energy from every single one of the fans in the stands as Alabama and Florida met for the first time in 2021. It was a top 15 matchup and a much anticipated one as well, as former Alabama assistant Lane Kiffin and the Ole Miss Rebels visited the Alabama Crimson Tide on Saturday. The Auburn Tigers jumped to number 25 in the AP Top 25 rankings after taking down Akron in Week 1. Week 2 on the Plains saw an in-state matchup against Alabama State. Coach Summerall says he's going to focus on the fundamentals first. While schemes are an important part of the game, they don't work without understanding the basics. So that's what he'll be looking forward to in the spring. Before the game, Brantley head coach Roland Jones said he didn't care what the scoreboard said at the end of this one. He just wanted to make sure his guys played hard for 60 minutes. Ellie says don't be afraid to put yourself out there, and who knows, you may be surprised at what you can accomplish. In Auburn, Hailey Sutton, WSFA 12 Sports. Day 3 of SEC Media Days in Hoover, and the focus was on the national champions. Alabama and the Crimson Tide set to begin the season in September against Miami, and the boys of fall are ready for some football. With the new coaching staff on the Plains, things will look a little bit different this football season for Auburn, but that change is good, and several of the players are embracing new roles in order to bring a new identity into the Tigers locker room. Head coach Chip Lindsey told reporters that not all games are won by outscoring opponents, and that couldn't be more true for the Trojans on Saturday night. I got to tell you, Stephen, I stood here and just showed you those highlights of quarterback Iverson Hooks. He's standing next to me this whole time. Iverson, you talk about an impressive game. When you watch those highlights, how does that make you feel? Like you said, we haven't seen the Biscuits suit up since September of 2019 because of the COVID-19 pandemic, and what a season that was for the Biscuits. 88 wins that year, the most in team history, 2 divisional titles in their 5th playoff appearance. Yeah, Sally, not a great way for the Hornets to start the month of November with just 4 games left on their schedule. Alabama State has decided to fire Donald Hill-Ely. It's a decision that comes after the Hornets dropped their 4th straight Magic City Classic game to Alabama A&M over the weekend. You talk about a wild weekend of Auburn football. They barely escaped with a win against Georgia State, and it was clear that head coach Brian Harsin was unhappy with the progress of his team. As of Sunday, he made the decision to fire wide receivers coach Cornelius Williams and replace him with a familiar face. Well, as of right now, Bo Nix is listed as the starting quarterback on the depth chart ahead of that huge game against LSU coming up this weekend. TJ Finley is still the backup, but according to Harsin, nothing is set in stone. He says they'll go back to practice tomorrow, and that's when the evaluation for the starting guy will be this weekend. He says both guys have their strengths and both bring a lot to the table, and ultimately a starter will be decided based on this week's performances at practice. It's something we'll continue to monitor this week, especially with TJ Finley, of course, being a transfer from LSU. But Sally, definitely interesting times in the Plains right now. Things are heating up on the Plains, and I'm not just talking about the temperature. As we inch closer to kickoff, Auburn head coach Brian Harsin has some big decisions to make about his lineup, and it all starts at the quarterback position. Well, I don't need an introduction for this man right here, DeMarcus Ware. DeMarcus, thank you so much for joining us today. It's an exciting day. It's a big day for you. So just kind of talk about why you came back to Troy University. With the name, image, and likeness rule allowing college players to profit now, several Auburn football players took advantage today by holding their first ever youth football camp. But it wasn't about the money for these guys. Instead, it was all about helping the kids get a little better. It's a video that went viral on social media. Here you see running back Ezra Gray from Alabama State sharing a special moment with Jackson State head coach Deion Sanders at SWAC Media Days. But just what were they talking about? Alabama head coach Nick Saban has been preaching playing with consistency and maintaining intensity for weeks. And finally, his team took his advice. From the opening whistle on Saturday, the Tide set the tempo and kept it up throughout the game. The Butter and Blue hoping to make it 3 in a row on a warm evening over at Riverwalk Stadium. The home team found themselves trailing late in the contest, but have no fear. The walk-off Warriors are here. Bottom of the 9th, 2 on base. You can bet on Chris Betts to put this game to bed. He belts a booming shot over the left field wall for the 3-run walk-off homer to seal the deal. Make it 3 in a row for the good guys. Biscuits win it 6-5.
People are going to look at you and people are going to stare. But once you prove them all wrong, then they're going to be quiet. They're not going to talk anymore.
It's a story of perseverance.
I was just kind of like coming to that realization, like it's here, like it's coming. You just work your butt off Monday and Tuesday.
A story of determination.
As I started running on the field, I got pretty nervous. My adrenaline kicked in.
And one that Ellie Rodning will never forget.
After I kicked it, I felt a bunch of relief. And I was just proud of myself. And all of the guys and coaches supporting me made it 10 times better.
Ellie made history last week by becoming the first girl to score points in a football game at Auburn High. She was a perfect 2 for 2 on extra points, helping the Tigers JV squad defeat LaGrange in their season finale.
I honestly didn't look at it. After I kicked it, I kind of like looked down and I was like, please just go in, please just go in. But then everyone started cheering and I was like, oh, I went in. And so I was really excited. I was trying not to jump up and down and like having like tears of joy, just I guess rolling out of my eyes, but it was really cool being the first to do that.
I actually had one of my coaches texting me right before she kicked, and he was like, "Ellie's fixing to kick, you know," and then she hit it. So he was like, "She hit it," and I'm out there at practice. I'm like, "Yes," you know. So and she actually hit 2, you know. So she did real good. I'm very, very proud of her.
But making history was no smooth sailing for the sophomore. Ellie tore her ACL last year, putting her shot at teeing up for the Tigers in jeopardy.
Honestly, I didn't have that much trouble physically. I bounced back pretty quick physically. It was more the mental aspect of it that was really, really hard for me. It was very hard to learn kind of how to walk again.
It was great for her to get that opportunity because she had worked so hard all season, all during the off season and stuff to get back to where she could actually have a chance to kick in the very last JV game. So it was awesome.
Proof that anything is possible if you put your mind to it.
I mean, there were probably so many people out there that doubted me, that didn't think I could do it, but if you just don't listen to them and just focus and just get your head in the game, once you do it, people are gonna not say anything anymore.
It's a message that inspires the community and someone else who's familiar with breaking barriers.
Hey Ellie, this is Sarah Fuller. I just wanted to say I saw your kicks and I am so incredibly proud of you.
Oh my gosh.
That's no small feat to go out there and do what you love and go against gender norms and everything. And I just wanted to say I'm so proud of you and keep it up, keep up the hard work, and just keep doing what you love.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
Ellie says don't be afraid to put yourself out there, and who knows, you may be surprised at what you can accomplish. In Auburn, Hailey Sutton. Yeah. WSFA 12 Sports. Faith, family, and of course, football. That's the foundation new head coach John Sumrall is hoping to build here at Troy University.
I'm honored and I'm grateful to be your head football coach at Troy University.
Driven by his passion to be the best, Sumrall lit up the room. There were plenty of laughs.
My mom's looking up at me like, you're saying that word too much. There's another word I could say that'd be a lot worse.
And a few tears.
My wife, Jenny, man.
But most importantly, there was a promise.
Now is the time for all of Troy Trojans to come together and take our football program to new heights. I can't wait to do it with you.
Just honored and grateful to be the head football coach at Troy. Tremendous opportunity, storied program, a place that me and my family love. Just really grateful for this opportunity.
Sumrall comes to Troy from his alma mater, the University of Kentucky, where he was recently promoted to co-defensive coordinator under Mark Stoops. But when the opportunity to return to the Wiregrass was presented to him,
it was emotional. I mean, there's been so much hard work in my career that has gotten me to this point that I've put in. There's also been a lot of people that have given me opportunities to help get me here, and then there's been a lot of people make sacrifices, whether it be my wife or my family, to allow me to do what I do and do it at a high level.
We interviewed Coach Summerall. We probably spent about 10 hours together. This was a very thorough, detailed search, and so I knew there were going to be certain triggers for him that were going to be emotional, and obviously it was during that time period. That shows you that's how much this job means.
Fans have already had a taste of what Summerall offers to this program. He was on staff under former head coach Neil Brown, one of the most successful coaches in Trojan history. Summerall says he'll draw inspiration from his mentor and friend while concentrating on implementing a player-first program going forward.
Just really getting to interact with the players. I mean, I love recruiting. That's great. I'm excited about putting a staff together, but I'm really excited about getting the guys back here in January and creating the culture and developing the routines and the battle rhythms to which we're going to use to help us become the program we want to be.
But the most impressive thing about Coach Summerall is not his coaching abilities or how he plans to recruit. It's the way he connected with the people of Troy and how he plans to bring more than just championships to Trojan Nation.
One of the things that really set him apart was he wanted to be at Troy, his comprehensive plan, and he's been here while we've had tremendous amount of success. And so when we talked about rebuilding Troy back to the area and back to the level that we wanted to, he could show that he's already done that before.
Coach Summerall says he's going to focus on the fundamentals first. While schemes are an important part of the game, they don't work without understanding the basics. So that's what he'll be looking forward to in the spring. But one thing is for certain, everyone in the Wiregrass is excited for this new era at Troy University. Hailey Sutton, WSFA 12 Sports, Troy.
When I think Iron Bowl, the first thing I think of is it's one of those. It's a must-win.
The biggest game of the year is headed to Jordan-Hare, and we've got you covered all week long.
Growing up in Alabama, that's all I know is the Iron Bowl.
If you're an Auburn guy or Auburn lady, 365 days, we want to win. And guess what? They want to beat our eyes out too, and that's okay.
We're taking you on a walk through history. And reminiscing on the moments that took our breath away. With exclusive player interviews.
One thing you can count on is on Iron Bowl week, you're going to get the best from every single team.
I think it means a lot to the state of Alabama. I do think most Alabamians understand and realize the impact and what this game means.
And of course, the people who watched it all unfold.
I was actually getting over, packing my stuff together, and all of a sudden the Auburn stands started erupting with loud cheers and everything.
I've seen every single game up to today, and when I go through the gates today, it'll be 629 consecutive with an overall of 655 games that I've seen.
Gets the snap, throws left middle, makes the grab 5, angles by 3, 2, 1, touchdown, touchdown, touchdown.
The 86th edition of the Iron Bowl kicks off this Saturday. Join us every day this week as we get you ready for the big game.